You want a piece of me, boy?
Nuclear launch detected.
Hello everyone and welcome to day 2 of the Starcraft 2 Nation Wars Season 4, where we are done with the qualifiers, so it's time to head into group play. I'm of course Ken van der Kooi, also known as Rotterdam. With me is Zombie Grub. Zombie, how did you enjoy yourself yesterday?
Amazing day yesterday. So,
What was the highlight? Was it Nathanius?
of course it was Nathanius. Yeah, obviously. No, it was actually, of course, USA winning in general. USA. You'll be hearing a lot of that.
We made some changes, as you guys can see. We're sitting today. I kind of like the standing, but it seemed like a whole lot of people out there did not enjoy us standing. They're like, you guys look so awkward, so they decided to give us a chair today, which I guess makes our day a little bit easier. But if anything, I would have liked to have a chair yesterday, because yesterday was like 11 hours, and today we are just having a couple of best of sevens. But the best of sevens today should be super fun. We'll have 3 matches today. It's going to be the opening match, which will be USA. Well, all sideways against Ukraine. After that, we're going to have Norway go up against Australia. I think that's a very interesting match as well. And then we'll also do the winners match. So that means at the end of this day, we'll have 1 nation advance. Tomorrow we'll do the remaining games, and then we'll know the first 2 nations that will make it into the quarterfinals of Nation Wars Season 4. Of course, since this is the main tournament right now, yesterday we had absolutely no time for shenanigans and interviews, post-game, pre-game. Today we will have interviews. We're going to have an interview with the captains of both teams. I obviously assume that Nathanius is the captain of USA, right?
I think that might be right. Yeah.
Like
makes all the calls.
Yeah, I mean, basically he's the MVP, he's the star player. I mean, yesterday was awesome to see a great performance of an underdog like Neep, but at the end of the day, all the eyes are on Nate.
Of course.
I'm not sure who would be the captain of Ukraine. In all honesty, I think all 3 of them would be a good captain. Dimaga with his old school and just the charm that it is Dima. And I mean, Bly, I guess, is the more successful player these days. But
I guess Bly would be the more successful player. I mean, I think he actually likes taking charge in the strategy-wise, so I think he might actually be the captain.
All right, so I guess we could embrace ourselves or prepare our bodies for an interview with Bly and Nate. That's going to be coming up soon. I believe we're going to have a little bit of footage as well from yesterday. We'll have some highlight plays. So this is basically the official kickoff of Nation Wars Season 4. Yesterday was a lot of fun. It was very hectic. There were 2 streams. Not even all the games were streamed just because there was so much StarCraft to be played. I think a total 16 best of sevens. A couple of interesting stories. Rainer, the youngster, getting that all kill.
Yeah, for Italy. Good job, Rainer. It was against China, right? Or, yeah.
Sorry?
Was it against China?
Yes.
Yes, against China. Yeah, that was, I mean, everyone thought actually China would be a pretty strong team. So Rainer actually coming in for Italy was pretty surprising.
Yeah. We actually have that video ready, guys. So let's not wait any longer and let's just play it.
Alors, premier match des Nation Wars, la Norvège contre la Nouvelle-Zélande. La Norvège s'est déjà imposée lors de 2 saisons, la saison 1 des Nation Wars et la saison 2 des Nation Wars.
Because a lot of people looked at Norway knowing they have Snoot, so it should have been an easy win. But the score was 2-2, and I felt Petraeus played very good the first time they went up against each other.
And he actually showed some pretty cool games, like especially in the late game compartment with great army control, with broodlords and everything. But ultimately, it came down to Petraeus against Snoot, and Snoot is just the kind of guy that will not lose in a nation war when he has to carry his team, and that's what he did.
Ah, donc on a eu un premier match de la journée, nous, Taïwan contre Japon, donc forcément il y avait une grosse attente au niveau de Az, on n'a pas été déçus, il a fait du grand n'importe quoi, on a bien rigolé.
Et derrière c'est Nice, le capitaine taïwanais qui a su ouvrir la voie pour son équipe. C'était un BO assez intense, on s'attendait à quelque chose d'un petit peu plus one-sided on va dire.
Donc finalement l'équipe de Taïwan qui a montré qu'elle était très complète et finalement elle va se retrouver à mon avis très difficile à les déloger.
South Korea versus Croatia was definitely the surprise match of the tournament.
On s'attendait à un 4-0 monstrueux.
But in the end, ultimately, fate decided otherwise. Ptak, the Croatian player, just played out of his mind.
And it's super sad that they had to forfeit their last matches, because I was looking forward to Ptak being revived and maybe getting even another point on the board.
Alors, Italie contre Chine, pour moi, c'est clairement le match de la journée, déjà parce qu'on a un Raynor qui est parti en feu.
C'est le joueur qui a réussi à claquer le river sweep all kill pour son équipe.
Pour moi, sur les 16 rencontres qu'on a eues, c'est vraiment celle que j'ai à retenir.
Ukraine against Russia was a lot more one-sided than I predicted it to be. I thought that Russia would be able to put up a pretty good fight, but
Haas ended up taking it 4-0, which I thought was possible, but I really thought that Brodek would show better games, to be honest, or at the very least be confident enough to come out as the revive.
L'Ukraine a balayé la Russie, c'était impressionnant.
Pologne-Bulgarie, bon, voilà, comment dire, il y a 2 joueurs qui dans l'équipe étaient à la BlizzCon, et le 3e homme est Mana qui déjà doit avoir au moins 10 titres à son actif. Ah bah la Bulgarie est morte, hein. Voilà, donc triste match malheureusement.
Danemark-Brésil, énorme match avec un retournement de situation de fou.
I thought it would be very close. I was surprised to see that the fans thought that it would be very Denmark favored.
I think once again we mentioned that Kelazur would be the heavy hitter for Brazil.
Qui permet à son équipe, le Brésil, qui est mené 3-1, de remonter et de remporter le match 4-3. Donc Kelazur impressionnant et surtout très très fort en TVT.
Donc énorme skill de la part de Kelazur, les Brésiliens doivent être aux anges.
Allemagne contre Suisse, bon les Suisses ont donné tout ce qu'ils pouvaient. L'Allemagne pareil, un représentant à la BlizzCon dans la personne de Showtime. Et puis derrière quand il y a du Hero Marine et du TL en backup, on se doutait que ça allait être violent. Aucune pitié les Allemands, ils ont envoyé Showtime en premier lieu. Ça a genre pas été serré du tout. Il y a juste un Penguin en tant que remplaçant qui s'est complètement relâché, qui nous a fait une double proxy dans la main de Showtime pour rendre la chose sexy. Mais non, les Allemands étaient trop forts. L'Allemand, surtout Showtime, a envoyé du lourd.
Et France-Vietnam, cassé complètement de 4-0.
Drogo qui n'a pas eu de pitié pour ses adversaires.
He made a true statement, I feel. Like he decided to go first as the opening player to play against Vietnam, obviously a team that we didn't expect anything from. And basically just all kill, playing super standard, but also super precise. Great micro, great choice of build. And in the end just got the all kill. And that's just, you know, great start for France. Really happy with it.
USA contre UK, gros match, là c'était absolument impronosticable, un des muslims en transe qui a complètement carry son équipe.
To be one of the best matches of the night, and it owned up to it. The Muslim looked very strong, but T-Ball also looked very good. It's unfortunate they can't continue on, but I guess USA. As an American, I guess I'm pretty happy to see my country advance, and a lot of that does have to do with Neeb.
Et bien sûr, Nib on fire qui a fini bien sûr par l'emporter au final, mais énorme cheers à des Muslims qui a vraiment carré son équipe.
N'en déplaise bien sûr au joueur le plus encensé de ces dernières semaines, le grand scam, voilà pour le Portugal, le Fein favorite. Et ben non, ça ne l'a pas fait puisqu'en face il y avait le Canada et puis un humble Semper. Voilà, on pouvait s'attendre plutôt à Scarlett qui allait faire le gros boulot. Et ben non, Semper, solide champion, underdog, voilà entre autres, qui a complètement carry son équipe. 4 games, dont une dernière un peu disputée, mais globalement il a clairement été au-dessus de l'équipe adverse. Donc voilà, un sans faute pour Semper, ce qui présage du meilleur pour une équipe qui va du coup être comme l'année dernière, on l'espère, très compétitive.
As you guys can see, plenty of things happened during the very first day of Nation War Season 4. I love these French guys. They're so passionate and they're so special in their own way.
They are so passionate, and they love kissing, apparently.
I mean, the French kissing, right? Like, it's real. It's
yeah,
it's
I've had
happening.
to learn it. Yep. So many people expected me to know it off the bat, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
It's very confusing because there are some nations where they kiss twice, and then some
Yeah.
nations they do 3 times, and there are some other nations where they're like, "Whoa, hold on, that's my personal space. What are you doing?" But it's always a lot of fun here, and as you guys can see, all the French casters had a ball. It's going to be only crazier every single time that France plays. These guys are gonna go ham, and you will hear them scream in the back. But I think overall it was a very successful first day.
Oh, yeah. I had no idea about the Canada match, actually. That Semper 4-0, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I guess Semper has been putting in the work. I actually think Canada has a good team as well. Semper is strong, and obviously Scarlett is super good.
Yeah.
But I believe we are ready for our very first interview. Once again, the first match is going to be played between USA and Ukraine. So, Funka, it's all yours.
Thank you, Roddy. Here I am with TKL, French caster, French casting machine, to be honest. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm actually waiting for those matches to be starting, but we will have our first interview in Nation Wars 4, and as you know, if you follow Nation Wars 3, the interviews can be quite interesting here. So I hope we will get some cool stuff coming out from USA and Ukraine, because those are going to be the two first teams that we will be interviewing today.
Yeah, and that's two teams that really showed things that we didn't expect yesterday. Like CAS going 4-0 against Russia, it wasn't at all expected. Much more expected from Bly, for example. And USA, Nathan is coming with the Dank memes builds, of course, and Nib and Puck showing off also great plays yesterday.
Yeah, totally different matches, to be honest. Like as you mentioned, 4-0 in like an all kill for Ukraine, but also a really tough match for USA. So we'll talk about that with the two captains, which will be Netanias for America and Bly for Ukraine. And I think the guys are here.
Oh God! Hey
Hello, guys. Hey Nate, hey Bly. Can you guys hear us?
Yeah.
Hello, yeah.
Hello. Okay. So Nate, first of all, great American flag behind you. Looks amazing.
Thank you.
Think that's a really nice touch right there. You tried yesterday a dank meme, as TKL said so, and it didn't work. What happened there?
Honestly, man, like the biggest fear of any Terran that wants to play like a mech style is always when the Protoss goes air, and I just jumped the gun a little bit. Actually, I felt like the game went pretty well. I made my battlecruiser transition just a little bit too early. He had the two Stargates at the very end, but never actually made a move into Tempest or carriers. So maybe the nerves came down into it a little bit, but I'm feeling a lot better. And of course, as Roddy pointed out on the American cast earlier, Neeb, our underdog player, was able to bring things back for us. He had a really awesome surprise showing. And he's actually got a meeting with President Trump if we continue to move forward with this and actually win this group. So he'll be receiving the Terran Protoss Trader Medal of Honor if we manage to get out of this one today.
All right. What about Bly in Ukraine yesterday? You guys had a perfect match, to be honest. CAS all killing, is that something that you anticipated, Bly?
Actually, yeah. Like Mia CAS could probably all kill Russia most of the time because they don't have the strongest squad right now. Like not all the players registered. The strongest Russian player is probably Strange, and he didn't register because he missed it. So it was not that hard, even though like it might be close, but from time to time, sometimes it can be 4-0, sometimes it can be 4-3. This time happened.
Yes, this time that was an easy win. TKL?
Yeah, but do you expect CAS to be able to repeat that kind of performance, or will we see more of your other player?
Yeah, sure. Like all three Ukrainian players who is playing right now, like me, CAS, and Dimaga, all practice like a lot. CAS and Dimaga streams a lot, and they stream all their practice most of the time, and they are playing like a shit ton of games. Sorry. And overall, I'm playing quite a lot too, and I'm playing all the online cups. So, like everybody in a good shape right now. So I'm expecting a really good result from my team.
All right. Expecting Ukraine to make it through. I guess Nate, you gonna tell me the same thing? America is gonna win, best country in the world. Of course, you guys are gonna win. But who is it beyond? Like, is Puck able to take the all kill? Can you take an all kill against Ukraine? Can you take some maps? Is that something that's possible? Nate in the back says, "Look at Bly. Look at Bly. He's laughing."
Is there a good answer to this question? Well, I'll be honest. I actually do feel very confident in my matchups against both Protoss and Zerg. I have, as you pointed out, the dank meme builds. I've had a lot of success with them on the ladder, and I felt very comfortable. Of course, we're not playing versus Protoss today, or at least in this group. But of course, I felt very comfortable in that match, and I still wouldn't be too upset about how it played out. For me at least, it was avoiding having to play like a Terran versus Terran. Then you'll see how bad I actually am. But I feel really confident. Obviously, Puck and Neeb are two players that are extremely good, and I don't think there's anybody that's going to be too much of a threat to Neeb. He just needs to hold it together. I was surprised about what happened with the Muslim yesterday, so maybe I have to be worried about CAS, but I think Neeb's got it together.
All right. And for Bly, we said that Neeb is probably the strongest player of the Team USA. But we remember Nib sometimes dies to very aggressive player. Bly, I think we can call you a very aggressive player. Do you think you can take down Nib and the rest of the American team yourself?
If there is a Zerg who can beat Nib more than one time from 10 games, it's probably me, yeah. With some proxy hatches, something else maybe? Something, just proxy something and it should work, so let's see.
The proxies, the proxies is all the rage against. When you're Bly against Nib, obviously we've seen a lot of games that have been going really, really wrong for Nib.
Yeah.
So Nate, I hope that doesn't happen, but we'll see. We'll see in the end. Now we're gonna ask you guys predictions. What do you think this match is gonna look like, Nate?
How many of us will go out before we send in Nib is probably the better question,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It is.
I mean, so that makes a worst case scenario, right, would be 4-2, of course. Best case scenario is probably a 4-1 then, looking at the way that we'll probably end up going with our picks. So I would say, I'd say 4-2. We feel really confident today.
All right, your predictions, Bly?
I feel like it's gonna be 4-0 or 4-3.
All right.
Okay, a lot of variety. Like either we kill them really easily, or it's gonna be super hard, basically.
But we still kill them, so...
Yeah, but you still win in the end. Like Ukraine wins in the end. Those are good predictions because last year we've had like captains that would go and say, actually we're gonna lose like 4-1. I know 100% sure. Like, dude, that's that's not really confident, Yeah.
To be fair, I am on this team, so 4-1 is still a really confident pick.
But does that mean that you'll be sent first? Nathanias.
With the last Nation Wars...
we played, You whooped my ass to start of last match that we played.
After this, I lost to Cyril. We lost to Finland 4-3 in the round of 8. This time we want to get top 4 at least.
All right.
Okay, yeah. Actually, your team could actually make it to the round of 4. And remember, all those teams will be in Paris. So that's something that would be cool. And if you guys qualified, I'm talking about America in that regard. Nathanias would actually be in Paris, even though he says no every time. That would be cool. I'm actually looking forward to this. So I guess that sums up the interview right there. Like, are we supposed to ask them for their starting player? That's what we did last year.
You mean the first?
The starting player. Should we ask them?
Well, I'm guessing that since Nathanias said it would be 4-1, he's gonna send himself first.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's ask you guys, captains. Who is your starting player? Nathanias. Who's gonna be starting for America?
Yeah.
You'll be starting?
That's exactly. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Reaper.
Nate is going to be the first player, and Bly?
Predictable. Me?
Yeah, all right. So repeat between Nathanias and Bly to start up this USA versus Ukraine match. Guys, thank you so much. And I guess good luck, have fun.
Good luck, have fun.
Thanks.
See ya. All right, pretty sick starting game. I'm actually super excited. TKL. What do you think about this upcoming Bly versus Nathanias?
Well, it's going to be interesting. Nathanias showed some very good build on his stream, builds with lots of ravens, for example. So I'm curious, will it work against Bly, or will Bly just crush the American Hope, the builder of wall, we can say?
The builder of walls,
of meme walls.
Meme walls. I actually totally agree with you. But I think that's it for us here at the interview desk, interview area. The great Christmas tree and everything. We will send back to the casters. Guys, take it away.
Thank you so much, Funka, and thank you so much, the King of Lies, awesome French casters, and of course, Funka will be joining us later here today as well on the English stream. Nathanias versus Bly, your first thoughts?
I think Nathanias is in a lot of trouble. I don't know, man. I don't think he's going to be able to get to mass Ravens with Bly in charge.
I think it's going to be hard, but obviously Nate has been playing a lot of NA ladder, and on NA ladder a lot of people have crazy early game aggression as well.
Sure.
And I'm not sure if Bly would truly want to roll the dice and be that risky, really put all his eggs in one basket and try to finish it early, because then if it doesn't work, I mean, I don't think that Bly wants to look into the mirror if he would end up losing against Intanis here. We all know how much pride these players have, and like one of the worst things there is for them is to lose to a quote-unquote caster. It's going to be a fun match. I'm super excited for it. I think overall this is going to be a good match. What did you predict, score-wise?
I said 4-1 because I thought
Okay.
that they'd send out Neeb after Nathanius lost, basically. But apparently they're going to send out Puck too. Then I guess a 4-2 for USA.
Yeah, I think I predicted 4-2 as well. I truly hope, I really, really hope that Nate can pick a map here, but it's going to be very difficult. I think Nate against Dimaga, I still think that Nate would have been the underdog, but I really believe that he would have had a realistic shot there. Against Bly, obviously, it's going to be a little bit harder. I mean, Bly was the finalist of DreamHack Leipzig still in this very year, so that shows that Bly is no slouch, but it's going to be fun. Obviously, the second match of the day is going to be a lot of fun as well. Norway versus Australia. I was actually looking at the lineup that Romania had when Romania went up against Australia, and it was actually a pretty decent lineup, so Australia has to be good as well. But we can talk about that one later. Just look at these beautiful young men.
I love the different profile pictures. Amazing. Yep, of course, Nathanius, Puck, Neeb, and I guess sub Jon Snow. I forgot that he was in there as well.
Is your body filled with pride when you see these proud men representing the great USA?
It's filled with pride when I see Neeb, man. Always. Ting Neeb.
I really like Nate's picture. That's a real picture of a captain right there.
Yep,
Like Nate is
staring off
running
in the
for
distance.
office.
It's amazing. That's what it looks like.
He's going to make this team great again. All you guys had to do was vote, and that's what you did. So let's see if these men can make it happen for the great United States of America. Going up against Ukraine. Ukraine with their super old school lineup. 3 players that were already, I would say, dominant and very prominent in 2010 and especially 2011. I mean, we mentioned yesterday that the very first Starcraft 2 tournaments that ever happened were in the beta. Go for Starcraft 2. I think that Dimaga won the very, very first one. Either the first or the second one. Back then there were 3 guys that were very good. It was the Muslim, Dimaga, and a guy called Oh Really, who was actually a World of Warcraft player, and everybody was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Like, why is he here between all these Warcraft and Starcraft pros? So Dima has been around for years. I think it's super cool that he has joined us here again, and I'm excited.
Yeah. I was kind of laughing because I noticed that Nate doesn't have any, like, percentage-wise for his matches. But here's the Ukraine team. Bly, Dimaga, and Kas. He's saying a very old-school team. Dimaga, one of the first Zerg players that I really liked back when I played Zerg. But then, of course, Kas, a great Terran player that I can cheer for now. And Bly, of course, going out first, looking for that all-kill.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, no Protoss on this team, but we've got 2 Protosses on USA, and we've got Nate, so it really doesn't get much better than that for me. I would even prefer that over having 3 Protosses. If I can choose between a team having 2 Protoss and Nate, or 3 Protoss, I'd always go for the Nate team.
Wow, that's such love right there.
Absolutely.
Brotherly love.
Absolutely. Soon we'll know our first match as well, and then we can get this nation war going. Today is not going to be as crazy long as yesterday, so it's going to be a little slower pace, but there should still be plenty of games. I mean, 3 best of 7, that's no slouch. That's more than you see at most other tournaments these days.
Wow. Not a tournament recently, right? I don't know.
Yeah, that was one a day. Would have taken us 3 days to just get done these first 3 matches. It's like, okay, thanks for joining us. And then you got Innovation as well, winning finals 4-0, and you're just like, God.
Yeah, I'm so glad I stuck around.
Not much of a showman, are you, Inno? Well, I guess not.
Not really. He's kind of a robot, so I don't think he really cares. She's like, I thought you were going to put up a better fight stats.
You know why?
Why?
Because he is Innovation. All right, so let's take a look at the map. What map is it going to be? Oh, we've got our predictions on screen. That's awesome.
Fancy.
4-2, 4-1, 4-3. Well,
wow, Funka. Wow. I don't know, man.
Funka is going to be very good. I was thinking about it, and I can realistically see, obviously, Nate lose. I really hope he puts up a great fight, but let's be honest, Nate is the underdog here. Then Puck. I think Puck is absolutely capable of beating anybody of Team Ukraine. But at the same time, I don't think that he's just going to all kill them.
Right.
However, I don't see Neeb lose to anybody of Ukraine.
Yeah, exactly. I actually don't think that...
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think that Neeb can lose to anyone, actually, if he's in good form, which he had like a misstep yesterday, but I think he's still like really good.
So our first map is going to be played on Habitation Station. I was just informed by my producer, which is why I was a little distracted, that we are going to have one more very quick 2-minute break, and after that we'll be right on the way with Nathanius versus Bly on Habitation Station. Welcome back, everybody, to the Starcraft 2 Nation War Season 4, the very first official day of the main tournament, where we are getting ready to hop into our first game. It's Nathanius, Captain America, going up against Bly. The map is Habitation Station.
Yep.
Well, I've seen Nate play on the map. I've seen Ravens. I've seen BCs. Can he get there?
I don't know, man. Like, I've also seen Bly play on that map, and like, there's a lot of proxies back in the day, and like, Bly just doesn't stop doing builds from back in the day, especially if they're aggressive. So I actually think this is going to be one of those aggressive maps.
We've got our polls again today as well. I think it's a lot of fun to see who you guys think is going to take this nation war. If you think USA is going to win, hashtag USA win. If you think Ukraine will take it, which would obviously be a little bit of an upset, hashtag UKR win. Let us know. We'll let you guys know as well the score, who you know, which team is favored. And of course, keep the tweets coming, hashtag NW4. Yesterday we showed quite a few tweets on stream. If you want to have your moment of fame, if you want to show off your setup or your romantic setting of how you're watching the games or anything else, you want to show pictures of your dogs. Maybe if you have a dog, put an American flag on it.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah, put the flag on there. That'd be great.
Yeah, go full Halloween. Why not? Send us your tweets. We really enjoy reading them. Hashtag NW4. Otherwise, we can't find them, obviously. You know, this is a true story, but it's very sad. So my mom heard me talk about Twitter all the time because he likes to watch streams.
Yeah.
So then one day my mom was like, you know, if he comes talking about Twitter, I'm going to get a Twitter account as well. So my mom makes a Twitter account. Obviously, does not follow anybody.
Sure.
Has no followers. And has like, over time, like 22 tweets. And then at a certain point, my mom, like, I get home to the Netherlands, and she's like, Kevin, I don't understand. You never reply to me on Twitter. And I was like, I don't think you've tweeted at me, Mom. And she's like, yeah, I did. And then I saw that she had an empty account in the void with 22 tweets, no followers, no mentions whatsoever.
Once again, famous Borsty tweeting out, "Let's go, Nathanius." Who's that Bly guy anyways? Am I right? Hashtag believe. Hashtag Captain America. Hashtag W4. What a beautiful poster.
Yeah, that's actually a very sick poster. That looked super HD. Borsty, a very talented graphics artist. Should do more with that, Borsty. One day, Nation Wars 5, and Borsty is going to be in charge of all the meme graphics for the entire tournament.
Graphics. Yeah, exactly.
Well, we can get a budget for that.
Yeah, like paying like $50. Like, yeah, that sounds about right. Artist, am I right?
Oh. What do you want to say? Where were you going? I interrupted you. I feel sorry.
Did you?
His Overlord is still giving high ground vision. He's going to try to land a couple of corrosive balls perhaps on the tank. Will not succeed in doing so, but the big problem is that Nate right now is losing a lot of mining time. He's perhaps showing a little too much respect against his very small Zerg force that's still left.
Yeah, I guess expecting maybe some type of follow-up, but of course, once like you don't see any lings, it's generally like, oh, okay, it was just the roaches. Plus, Bly, I mean,
got 2 tanks. Come on.
Bly has actually not been doing a lot of like true all-ins. He actually does a lot of these pokes more often, and sometimes even like follows up with a 2-base Spire. He did get his 3rd base, but it's also fairly quick lair. Tries to push down here. The tank might go down. That was actually terrible to lose that tank. Friendly fire help there too.
Yeah, that all looked a little bit ugly. I feel that Nate could have just unsieged his tanks and go for it. With 2 unsieged tanks, you actually still have quite a bit of DPS. Once again, we have full map vision. We knew there were no reinforcements on the way. I understand that Nate obviously feels the pressure a little bit as well. He doesn't want to die to something silly. The last thing you want to do is maybe unsiege your tanks and then 24 links speed in and then, he looks silly and everybody laughs at him and wants to prevent that. But that looked a little bit clumsy. Losing the tank, very painful. Because it would have been awesome for Nate if he could have just cleaned that force up and then maybe with a small force of, let's say, a couple of Marines, 2 tanks and 1 or 2 air units run across the map, there's a good chance that he would have been able to apply some counter pressure.
Yeah, it really is disappointing that he lost the Reaper like he did too. I mean, the Reaper's generally going to die, maybe a couple of grenades, but if you can save that, then it is something to scout with past the point where you realize it's not speedlings on the field, but instead he's just kind of in the dark. We actually have him going for double engineering bay, so he is investing in that Raven. Is that the second Raven? I thought he was rebuilding. Yeah, he's in the second Raven, but he is going to also go for +1/+1.
It's Nate. That's not going to be the last Raven. Nate absolutely loves his auto turret harass, and he also loves to still get a whole bunch of bio units out there, get a couple of upgrades, but there's a good chance that we will see nothing but Ravens if he has the chance for it. It's important he doesn't end up losing it. At least he gets 1 turret, and these turrets kill drones very, very quickly. Bly not really respecting that auto turret all that much and losing 4 drones. That's nice for Nate.
Yeah, it's nice, and as long as that Raven can stay back there, then it's fantastic, actually. And with Bly not going for a Spire, he goes for a pretty quick infestation pit. It's going to be able to stay back there.
I wonder what he's going to do with that. Does he just want to go up to Hive quickly?
It's possible.
Or
I mean,
Infestors.
You could also do some type of like shenanigans with burrowed infestors. That would be really cool, but of course Burrow would already be on the way if I think that was the case.
Wow, Nate with a run by. I mean, he's investing a lot of his gas. This is what Nate has been very vocal about. All the gas goes into like stim early on, upgrades, and Ravens as well. Look at these Hellions doing some very serious work. Natanius killing 11 drones, and he's not even done yet.
Yeah, we don't even have a lot of like units on the way. Okay, the Roaches finally catch up. That was the big thing. I think he did invest in the Speedlings, just never invested in more Speedlings. More auto turret harassment in the main base. That's 16 drones in total with that combo attack.
Wow. I mean, Nate had kind of a rough early game, and it felt like he was starting to fall pretty far behind, especially after losing the tank. But right now, things are starting to look pretty damn good. He's really getting some momentum going. I mean, what is Bly going to do with all his roaches? I don't think he's got enough to just run across the map. And if he does that, he's going to end up losing more and more and more drones to these Ravens as well. Natanius is taking control of this ball game.
Just 2 auto turrets at a time is going to do a lot. It's actually going up to 20 now. I mean, we do have a Hive on the way. Infestors also on the way, although no Burrow, which is kind of sad. But yeah, if Bly went across the map, I actually don't think he'd be able to do very much.
Oh my God, he's losing so many drones.
4 at a time, but like every 20 seconds is actually like a pretty big deal here. A Queen can die to it as well, though it takes a while and you have to focus fire. I'd rather go for the drones.
Yep. Oh my God, Natanius killing 27 drones against Bly. 1-1 upgrades are finishing up for Nate. He's getting more tanks, more Marauders, more Marines. Nothing. Wait, 2 star points being added? That's just on barracks, is correct? I mean, I know that Nate absolutely loves his BCs, but I feel after killing this many drones, do you even want to go for that? Like, probably not, right? Like, just keep doing what you're doing and build up a very strong, powerful army.
Yeah, if you think your macro is at least decent, which I believe it is, like, I think you would actually go for the army push. But Bly is going to try and deny this 3rd base. I think waiting for the 3rd base to go on location was the best opportunity for him to do some type of damage. But he's definitely not going to break Nate here, and if they wouldn't break the natural either.
Yeah, Nate has plenty of bio units, by the way. He's showing a lot of respect, and his CC is taking quite a bit of damage as well from all these corrosive balls. I know that Nate has plenty of bio units because he's been producing quite a few already. He's showing Nate is playing this very, very, very cautious. I guess he's just super happy with the amount of damage that his auto turrets are still doing on the other side of the map.
Oh my God.
Wow, Bly has not been watching the Natanius stream enough, knowing that this was going to happen.
I can't believe he has to put a Spore Crawler down. Or maybe he's tried and it just hasn't gone down. I don't know. But like this is actually a super big deal. Blonde able to get past 60 drones, only just like recently getting past 50 drones. He is a little way to ultras, but Nathana's actually been building a lot of tanks, and there's not that much of a bank for Bly. There's actually a lot of gas, not a lot of minerals, so the ultra's going to be coming out one at a time. And if Nathana has a decent push and a decent choke, he could take on an ultra army.
Yeah, especially if Nate goes through the middle of the map, correct? Because look at where Bly's fourth base is. It's the gold.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, that's going to be very, very vulnerable against tanks. And even when Bly gets ultras, these are not the invincible ultras we once upon a time had. And he nowhere near even has the best ultras that are currently possible in the game.
Yeah. I mean, +2 Carapace, and I guess, Chitin is coming down immediately, yeah. But absolutely, they're not as good as they were, and the tanks are better against them now, too. Nathanias has stopped producing tanks. I think he has like 6 or something like that. That's still a pretty damn good number. What's really unfortunate for Nathanias is that his macro did slip a little bit. Oh, bye, Raven. Amazing Raven. So his combat shields are a little bit late, and his +2 armor was a little bit late.
It's going to be a little bit careful here as well. I mean, obviously, going up against Bly, you know that fungals will always be possible. I love what Bly's doing here as well. He's buying time for these ultras, sending out these units to the middle of the map, showing Nate like, hey, you got to respect my army, because if you're rushing too much and I can just fungal, I can corrosive bow, you're going to lose a lot of units. Big problem for Nate right now is that I think he's very blind. If you just take a look at his point of view, sees absolutely nothing, and that's never a nice position to be in.
Yeah, exactly. He was probably a little too passive, waiting for his macro to kick in. Oh, those corrosive biofungal combos are going to be so deadly. And as such, he wasn't cleaning up creep spread. He wasn't getting any scouting on the timing of the hive. Now he's going to see ultras, which if you're already sieged up in position in the choke, then you can deal with. But defensively, like moving into an ultra army, you just usually don't want to as a Terran. You're going to wait till you're maxed out.
He's going to send 2 medevacs to the south side of the map, maybe buy a little bit of time. Army supply Nate is down 38 at the moment, and that's actually quite a bit. So this is not a moment where you want to take a fight on creep, because that can get very ugly very quickly. There is a Spire on the way. Now Nate just left a couple of units in the middle. That's a good fungal by Bly, and all these medevacs will fall. No, actually 2 out of 3 will fall. For some reason, that one just looked at it all. A massive run by as well. At least the drop is doing some work, but at the same time, Bly is doing some work as well on the other side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, this is a couple more drone kills. It's a little sloppy, though. It's not really being directed towards anything. And, of course, he did lose the medevacs in doing this. He's trying to clean up creep spread in the middle of the map, something that he should have been doing for a while. And, unfortunately, Thanos is he's just really starting to lose out in the macro game. Originally at, like, 40 army supply down. Now it's 60 army supply down. His upgrades still haven't started for that +3, which should have been on the way with +3 armor as well a while ago. And that 4th base is only halfway done.
Yeah, now obviously the ultras are out. I really think that Nate, while he was killing that many drones and he was still like Stim was finishing up, that was a good moment to push out a little bit, take care of a couple of those creep tumors, and maybe get some tank damage done, on that gold base. Bly being able to mine up that gold is really starting to snowball. All these tanks are incredibly clumped up as well. A couple of corrosive balls take care of the medevacs.
Yeah, that's all of the medevacs gone, I believe. He had no medevacs down. I think it's really slipping on his starport production. And if he had continued producing tanks, kept most of his tanks alive, imagine if there was like 12 tanks right there. Even without medevacs, I don't think you're pushing through that quite yet. Not until those brood lords. But with only 6, especially if Bly sees an opportunity for a surround and no stim on those on the bio units without medevacs, yeah, you could definitely take that fight.
Well, kudos to Bly, as he's definitely turned this one around. For a split second, I truly thought that the dream was super alive for Nate, while he was even in upgrades, and Bly didn't have that much going for himself. There's a Burrowed Infest area as well that could land a potential sick fungal. Ultra's just going to run up this ramp. Bly actually second-guessing himself there.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, the tanks, again, on that choke, 6 of them, not as impressive as they could have been. Still something that you have to be worried about, especially as you get clumped up there. This fungal that's waiting, I don't even really think he needs it. I think he could brute force his way up there, as scary as it is, and actually just uses a better path. Oh, there's the fungal in the tanks.
Yeah, gets all 4 tanks there. Nathanias is in a lot of trouble. A couple of units are on the other side of the map, but this entire army is going to die.
Oh, God, the medevacs with the tanks inside, and that's it. GG. Bly takes the first game for Ukraine.
Ukraine, indeed, we're taking that 1-0 lead, but for a split second, I thought it was happening.
It looked super good.
Yeah, and I feel that normally Nate, if he gets in a decent spot against Zerg, like I've seen him play against very good Zergs, guys like Golden and other Zergs out there, where if Nate, makes it past that early game and he's not too far behind, and then the auto turret harass kicks in, and then he gets his run bites with the Hellions, I feel that, he's very capable of playing the matchup at a very high level.
Yeah.
And it's a shame to see Bly just taking that gold and getting away with it. I think Nate actually scouted that gold super late as well.
Yeah, I guess I'm not sure about that, but yeah, there's definitely like a lack of continued pressure past the Raven auto turret harassment. Something that Bly, I mean, it was really dangerous of him to like skyrocket up to the ultras, because what if Nate had like his combat chills and his 2/2 timing like, you know, exact like super pro innovation level? Then he's probably going to die. At least the fourth base is going to die as he's pushed through the middle. But he took the chance and he got to the late game and just got way maxed out way faster than Nathanius.
Yeah, unfortunate, but another good showing by Nate. But Bly does what we expected him to do, and that is take a 1-0 lead for Ukraine. So our next player for USA, well, it's going to be a Protoss, that much we know, but is it going to be Puck or is it going to be Neep? I mean...
I thought it was going to be Neeb, to be honest. I think they just would have thrown out someone to get an idea of who comes out first for Ukraine. But from the interview, it kind of sounds like they just want to throw out both of them and then save Neeb for last.
Well, Nathanius did predicted a 4-1 for USA, so that could also be...
Yeah, he did. He was like wavering between a 4-2 and a 4-1. I don't know. Maybe it just depended on how it looked, basically. So if Puck is like, I don't want to face Bly, but I'll face like a Terran, then I guess Neeb will be coming out next.
I think Puck I mean, traditionally Puck had very strong Protoss with Zerg, and we're going back to the heart of the Swarm days. And in Legacy of the Void has been a little hit or miss. Well, the next player is absolutely not going to be for Great Britain. Oh, guys, now you're just rubbing it in. All those guys in the UK, they were so sad. They put up such a good fight, and we all wanted to see more of Great Britain. So this is obviously going to be the next player of the USA. They're free. Independence Day happened, guys.
3, 2.
It's going to be Neeb.
All right. So I guess I'm actually still running for a good score prediction. 4-1. There it goes. But yeah, Neeb against Bly is actually in some ways, well, classic's the wrong word because it was in the last 6 months ago. But it's still kind of an old-fashioned one for me. Like Bly versus Neeb was one of those things where Neeb was really a growing Protoss, and he had to face a lot of Bly in these online tournaments, and he would lose a lot to Bly's proxy hatches.
Yeah, because Bly would always proxy in a different position. You know, you beat Neeb once with a certain build, and then Neeb is very good. Like there was this one game where Snoot proxied a hatchery on the left side of his rocks on
King Sejong.
Yeah, on King Sejong, and then Snoot was able to win it. But from that point on, Neeb would always check for it. And then the next time I saw somebody try it, it wasn't even close. You know, it was a flawless defense by Neeb. And the same goes for proxies for Bly. Eventually, he's gonna run out of proxies. At least I assume he would. And that's where Neeb should be able to shine. Our map is going to be Newkirk Precinct.
Yep, Newkirk Precinct. So the thing is like Bly can do it anywhere, the proxy hatch thing, and if he really feels like Neeb has been maybe faltering to it, if he's ever played against him recently, which I don't feel like I remember seeing them recently together online on online cups. Neeb hasn't really been playing that many. Online cups, or Bly's been playing every single online cup, but he could do it on any map, and Newkirk Precinct is one of those.
Alrighty, loading in to Newkirk for our second match of the very first nation war of the day between Ukraine and USA. On the right bottom side, representing Ukraine, they're up 1-0. It is Bly.
In the bottom left is the American Hope. He is the red Protoss, Neeb.
Newkirk is kind of a dangerous map, though. Well, and it's already starting. Who needs to proxy a hatch if you can just steal their natural? Now, Neeb is returning the favor on the other side, but unfortunately for Neeb, you can't really build a nexus there. You know, Pylon works a little better.
You can photon overcharge it. Oh, wait, that's out of the swarm. Yeah, so this is something, though, that, I mean, we actually talked about this yesterday when we were watching Neeb against another Zerg player. Like, can they do some type of proxy hatch and really throw it off? And I mentioned that Neeb has actually gotten a lot better against this. So mentally he's gotten a lot better, whereas before he would just falter and just like snowball in his own mind. And then of course actually in the game he's gotten a lot better. So immediately pulls as many probes as possible or as necessary to out DPS that growing health. This is an annoying evolution chamber trick. I mean, he might even be able to get another one if he's really on point, but it's usually it because the Zealot's going to come out soon.
Yeah, but I think this is already quite a solid opening for Bly, though, because if you just take a look at how late this Nexus is going to be, Neeb pulled 8 probes to cancel that hatch. That means at that point he's only mining with 11 out of 16 workers in his main. While on the other side of the map, Bly actually just went hatch first. I mean, yes, it is in a slightly more vulnerable position, but it's still a solid opening here for Bly. Obviously, Neeb did what he had to do, but I personally, as a Protoss, find this kind of stuff very annoying to go up against.
Yeah, it is actually, I mean, it's not quite as severe as like a 3-rack super, for instance, but it does put the Protoss kind of like playing your game, the Zerg's game. So actually do have the income advantage graph, so you can see that Bly did take that bit of a spike upwards for that. But it wasn't the true all-in. It wasn't a Spinecrawler rush. It wasn't the Roach Ravager rush. It just was to kind of annoy Neve and get his opener a little off.
Yeah, this Zealot can be annoying, but at the same time, a single Zealot will never really be able to achieve all that much, so Neep doesn't just want to sacrifice it. Now, the good moment, I think, for Neep is not going to be just the first adept, but I would love to see Neep open up with 2 adepts here. Because of the way that Bly expanded, which is slightly more towards Neep, there is a good chance that you will be able to do some damage. While I say that, though, there is an evolution chamber on the way already, and obviously Bly is going to capitalize on you having your units on the other side of the map. I really do hope that Neep right now doesn't necessarily play PvZ, but he plays Protoss versus Bly. So don't delay your Mothership Core. Get an early Mothership Core, because this is not the moment to be greedy and get 2 more workers out before you get a Mothership Core.
Yeah, that's actually an excellent way to put it, and it's something that he should be well aware of, again, having played him so often a few months ago, that is. I mean, maybe he's forgotten, maybe he's going to actually make this simple mistake and not have the proper defenses against it. Bly is going to just harass you all damn day long, but we do have those Lings on the way. Of course, the follow-up probably going to be a +1 if this doesn't actually end up working out. But first, the Lings get in here. I mean,
I'm starting to get a little worried for Neep.
Right?
This is going to have to be very, very, very good defense by him, because right now he doesn't even have a full wall off. He still does not have a Mothership Core. It's not out yet. It's not on the way. He's starting Resonating Glaze, but that's not going to be in time. I think he has spotted the Lings in the main base. If he loses the Adept, that's actually going to be very hard. Neep barely has any units, and Warp Gate is not done yet.
Oh god, the 2 gateways aren't even done yet. There'll be only 1 coming out. 1 Adept's trying to be chrono boosted. The front wasn't walled off, and all the Lings just actually get in here. The probes are pulled, but the another Adept goes down. That Stalker will go down quickly too. A Zealot is helping.
Oh my god, more Lings streaming through. Mothership Core is late. GG Bly takes a 2-0 lead over USA. So much for that prediction, Zombie Grub. As Neep, I mean, it's a little bit of a cliche, but sometimes I do really feel that when you go into a matchup, you have to play. Like, if you have that much information about somebody, you have to use it as well. And I totally understand that if Neep goes up against Dark and he feels that Dark is going to play very macro-oriented style, that you want to delay your Mothership Core to get a few extra workers out. It's a minor advantage, but at the highest level, every advantage you can create for yourself counts. But going up against Bly, a Bly that also has a hatchery in a more forward position, which means faster reinforcements, because you forced him to put it there, it's a little stubborn.
Yeah, it was pretty questionable. I did think he would do better, but I guess, I mean, he went down to the Muslim in the game against Great Britain first, and then he came back and definitely fixed the problems, basically, that had occurred in the first game. So it could happen again. Of course, going to be looking for that revive, because while Puck is a good Protoss, I think... well, I guess he also has more information about what Bly is playing like, but again, Bly plays like he does every single day. That's not really information you needed to get by watching your teammate lose, but I mean, maybe Puck can do it. I just don't know.
Yeah, I think Puck is definitely capable of taking out Bly, especially on a good day. And I think against anybody of Team Ukraine, in all honesty, I think Puck has a very good shot. But Puck at the same time is also can be a little inconsistent. Sometimes he's phenomenal and sometimes he's having an off day. Which Puck is going to show up today? Well, we're going to find out after a very short break. You're watching Nation War Season 4, first play day. Welcome back, everybody, to Starcraft 2 Nation War Season 4, where the surprises are already happening, not just yesterday during the qualifiers, but it's already continuing in the very first Nation War, as we just saw Neep fall once more against the always very dangerous, very scary Bly.
Yeah. Well, his teammate Puck, another Protoss, is going to be playing against this aggressive Zerg on Echo. I mean, I always feel like it doesn't matter what the map is. Even Whirlwind, you're going to have to be worried about an early pull, right? But of course, if it's any 2-base map, then you have to be worried about those proxy hatcheries, whether they're just the, buy some time of the natural type deal, or they're actually the Spinecrawler rush. I mean, it's totally up to Bly. Bly will even do Nidus Worm still, which no other Zerg really wants to do anymore.
I actually love the way that Patak played this map against Zest. I thought it was brilliant. If these guys, they keep opening with this pretty weird opening, I mean, it's standard right now, the Archon Dark Template drop, where you have just so few units at home, but it's barely enough, and obviously, if the Zerg would go up to 3 bases, they cannot possibly attack you because they have no detection and stuff. Why go up to 3 bases? Just stay on 2 hatcheries, make nothing but roaches, get an overseer, and just go for it. And you're looking at like 48 supply of roach against like 12 supply of protos, which is on the other side of the map. Like, I thought it was brilliant, and I'm sure that this man has been taking notes of that build, because Bly loves any Zerg that does something just a little bit different other than take hatcheries and drones. I already introduced him, but here's the double introduction. It is Bly. Introduction.
In the bottom right has the red Protoss. For the USA, he is Puck.
Do enjoy watching Puck, and I actually think that this is a nice moment for Puck to step in as well. His name, here we go again. Bly once more dropping the hatchery, and this actually hurts a little bit more for Puck,
yes,
because Puck wanted to go Nexus first, so the gateway is going to be a lot later.
Yeah.
This time there's not going to be a Zealot to save the day if he morphs it into an evolution chamber as well.
Definitely looking to get that probe down there before the hatchery went down, because I could have sworn that his probe, with his own scouts, saw the drone move across the map, but maybe there was some dodging involved. I guess he's just going to try and return the favor.
Yeah, and he's actually doing a good job, because Bly does not have a spawning pool yet. So what is Bly going to do now? He's going to build a hatchery in the main base as well. This is just getting very weird, very Bly-ish already.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god, this game has Bly written all over it.
Oh, wow. He even had something like an evolution. Whoa, this.
Yeah,
oh, no, it was
the
a
proxy
hatchery.
one.
Okay, I was like, wait a second. Yeah, okay, so he does the trick. I guess the probes are eventually chipping away at that hatchery. Just buying a little bit more time. Maybe the drone could do it again, too. He almost has 300 minerals, but the probes are right in its butt.
Gotta love it. It's just another Monday morning for Bly, even though it's not Monday at all. Let's see what the follow-up is going to be for Puck. Puck just wants to get Nexus as quickly as possible.
Oh, God.
Bly has taken what is normally even, I would say, a 5th base, because often you see them take the 4th on the left side. I mean, this could be the 4th as well, but the 4th or 5th as his natural. Then his 3rd is his 3rd, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
So what there's almost, I just don't see any way that Bly wants to just drone up from this point. Because how on earth is Bly going to defend every mineral line?
Yeah, I was going to say, Echo is one of those really obnoxious maps to get pylon blocked at both locations. Any forward position is just actually going forward, and it's just super hard to defend against the Protoss pushes. But, of course, yeah, I mean, Bly, he's not necessarily looking like, oh, man, now I can't safely secure my 70 drone lead. Like, he's not that type of guy to do that. So if he has a bit forward of a position, then he's probably going to use it for some type of aggression.
Yeah, and the gas is actually super late for Bly, so that means that a double adept opening once again could be fantastic here for Puck, but I think it was maybe one adept into a Zealot, or it just went Zealot first. Do we have an adept out on the map? I thought I saw an adept. Nope.
No.
Okay, so he's actually going Zealot Sentry. Tiny bit sad about this, but that's obviously because I see everything, and Puck cannot possibly know that the gas was as late as it was. But if he would have known that, he would have absolutely loved to send the Adepts across the map, because, you know, if there's no circling speed, the Adepts can cause an absolute nightmare, and all these drones would be super dead.
Yeah, I mean, all he has right now is what he saw his teammates Neeb lose to, which was a faster follow-up, and of course the Overlord drops, which Bly could add in, probably will add in eventually, as he does love his harassments, but for now it is just, it's calmed down a little bit. Bly is actually droning, not just making a ton of lings. Puck going for a Robo right here.
Actually, Puck is also playing with a relatively late Mothership Core, but I'm mining a little bit less this time, because at least A, he has a full wall off, and B, he's getting sentries, so he has a pretty decent defensive setup. That's indeed quite a fast Robo. I don't wonder what he's going to do with it. Maybe this is one of these, I'm going to make one Immortal and then add a whole bunch of gateways and eventually go up to 3 bases builds.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, the 3 base build. I was actually thinking back to, like, back when people were still trying to make the Immortal Sentry build work in the beginning of Legacy of the Void, and then Ravage is just like, nope, that's not going to work anymore. Sometimes you still have those, like, you know, small pokes, but those are more for maps like Arena, like, not so much in a big open map like Echo. So it is going to be that Warp Prism harassment. Gateways are being added on now. I mean, Adepts in the main base, Bly will have to defend. Again, he's not actually making like a ton of units. 3rd base comes down to.
Imagine if he brings the sentries as well and he just force fields Bly out of the main. That would be very old school, a real blast from the past. Just pick up a single sentry and see if it's possible. I mean, yes, Ravagers can destroy force fields, but it's still very annoying if force fields are being dropped. We don't really see it anymore. It was one of my favorite things about the game. So beautiful.
Yeah, Protoss would say. Someone who played Zerg for like the beginning years when that was the most popular thing to do. No, thank you. So the Warp Prism is going to be able to provide not just a little bit of, I mean, hopefully a lot of damage down to the drone line as Bly is really underprepared. Although that Spire, it's not going to be underprepared for long. But of course, just giving him scouting, which he does not have. Didn't actually get an observer at any point. I guess he did have Lucid Phoenix running across the map. Almost died. Actually got a pretty good scout.
Yeah, but he didn't see the Spire though. And this can actually get a little bit ugly. Hopefully for Puck, he will be able to do some work. Gotta give a lot of credits to Bly. I feel like Bly's making all the right choices against his quick Prism. Spire is obviously brilliant. And also because there is no Stargate, there is no Twilight Council with Blink. I mean, yes, these Zealots are doing a little bit of work, but they need to do a lot more. And this is actually just buying a lot of time for Bly.
Yeah, that was quite the commitment. I mean, even warping in 3 more Zealots. I was really worried about that Warp Prism, though, like getting so low from that first Queen. Now 3 Queens are here, and that could be sniped. I'm not really sure going to pick up the Zealots is, okay, actually he's going to be able to do it, but that Spire is almost done.
The best thing that these Zealots achieved is forcing out the 10 Roaches that are currently being forced out. First it was 6, and now he's actually going up to 10, because he's getting Roach speed as well. I'm a tiny bit surprised by that, because I actually felt that a Muta transition would have been absolutely brilliant. Look at how late that Twilight is, so just imagine how late Blink would be. Basically, how late anything would be that's great against Mutalisks.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think the mass mutas would have been quite painful for Puck to deal with, but actually adding in all those roaches, he barely has, I mean, so he's going to have 4 or 5 mutas. That's going to be enough to send a War Prism packing, which I guess might be the ultimate goal, but he's investing in a +1. There's always a chance later, as Bly is on 4 bases, maybe he does go up to like 60, 65. He could do a massive muta switch, but Immortal, Sentries,
this guy gotta be
no
careful with...
pylons in the middle of the natural and the third, though.
Wow, you saw how confident Puck was there, sending out his units. Like, I would have completely messed those force fields up, and everything would have been surprised. Okay, it seems like Puck has picked up on the fact that the Muta transitioning is happening as he's throwing down double Stargate, so maybe that last hallucinated Phoenix saw the Spire. Yes, it did. Good job there by Puck. That should be in time, because the Muta count is just right now not high enough to just jump into a Protoss base. I mean, with 5 Mutas, so maybe Bly's actually going to be happy with the fact that he's forcing out the double Stargate, and then he can stop building Mutas. If you can get like 7, 8 workers with these few Mutalisks, and you force out double Stargate, you can always transition into something else again as Zerg.
Yeah, but he's not actually getting any more mutas, so it does look pretty hopeful for him. If he starts adding in like 10 more, though, that's actually going to be a little bit questionable. Phoenix is going to show themselves soon enough to help defend here, but 7 probes already going down. These Zealots don't know what they're doing in life.
Yeah, I think that these mutas were like, wow, these mutas actually did so much more than I expected them to do. That's 7 probes with just 3 or 4 mutas, and now he decided to make a few more. He's going to spot these targets, but look at the amount of damage. This is kind of what we said, right? Imagine if he would have done this immediately right off the get-go. It would have even been more Mutalisks, less Roaches, and it would have hit a little bit faster.
Oh, this is actually nice. I didn't realize that War Prism was still alive. The mutas would have immediately gone to check that out and kill it. That's going to get a hatchery.
Where? Depends on the Queens.
The Queens, I think, got the 4th base, so they were way out of position. That is actually really nice. For losing 16 probes, because that was too much damage taken by the mutas, killing the natural base. Well, I mean, technically it was like the 4th base, I suppose. One of the newer mining bases, believe it or not. Was quite nice.
What a weird game now.
It is.
That was obviously a nice pickoff, and now suddenly Bly's economy is not that sick. The mutas are not going to be very good against the Phoenixes. There's a lot of creep spread. It's very hard to read the state of this game.
I would say that Bly is still like in a really dominant position. I mean, he actually double expanded, or he's already getting a 5th base when he remade that natural base. And that was, of course, all the Zealots dedicated to that, and the War Prism died, so there's actually no more harassment to be done, unless he starts overpowering with the Phoenix, and I guess he could fly around. But it is just going to be Puck on 3 bases for some time. Bly is really taking advantage of the situation at hand here, as you said, with the creep spread, as well as going up to a really good drone count, 72 on 5 bases.
Yeah, Bly doesn't have great upgrades on the ground, though. He has a couple of Lings, and soon he will have Baneling speed. So maybe if he morphs a whole bunch of these Lings into Banelings,
there we go.
That's exactly what he does. Then indeed things start looking very, very promising for him indeed. Multiple Archons will be needed for Puck to at least take a somehow decent fight there. He does have a lot of sentries still, and yes, there are Ravages, but it's still hard to take care of those force fields immediately. And Puck in general, I think, is good with sentries and is on the money with most of his force fields.
Yeah, this is such a difficult position. You really feel for the Protosses here. Only a couple of Phoenix. I guess that's enough to take care of the muta count, but basically you're starting to get pulled left and right, and you really have to be calm and on point with where your army is. Now, 3 bases, that might not be so difficult, but when he tries to reach towards that 4th, that might be where it's really Bly's chance. But Bly's actually forcing the issue and pushing into the middle here. The force fields go down, but no more.
Oh, he has so many more force fields,
but
yeah, he was distracted by the Mutalisk, I think, that were flying into his 3rd base, so these force fields were not on time. And those Banelings got some massive connections. Both players have a lot of money. But it seems like Bly is actually going to have enough units over here as more Banelings and Link stream forward. And Team USA is in a lot of trouble.
Oh, God. Yeah, that was one fight to win it all. I really thought that Puck was going to be able to get the second line of force fields down and be at least okay, right? Like, maybe he still takes the worst trade and he's still stuck on 3 bases and it's still, like, you know, not a great game for him. But I really thought it was going to go better, at least last longer. That kind of sucks. Now we're back to Neeb, I assume. I would say that technically Puck had a better game against Bly, but Neeb's game is hardly long enough to say.
Yeah. Yesterday when I was doing this, apparently there were like 2 guys at the Team Liquid Forum. They're like, oh my God, he's making a case for Tebow. Obviously he's going to be the Muslim. I was like, yes, guys, I was hyping the Muslim as well, and I also thought it was going to be the Muslim. But I totally agree with you. I really thought that Puck was going to be able to defend there with just better force fields. The first line of force fields was good. I think he had planned. We could take another look at that fight. But I do want to give credits to Bly because I think that Bly distracted Puck with the Mudalisk. You can see them on the right side of the mini map.
Yeah.
And I think for one moment, I think Puck probably looked away. I was wondering, by the way, why we had no photon overcharges. Why have those pylons there if you don't have photon overcharge? And the Mudas flying in, I think it distracted Puck.
Yeah, I guess that was the distraction. And so I just got over talking about how I really feel for the Protoss when they start getting distracted left and right, and the Phoenix is not taking the Mutas out. I guess first and foremost really did help Bly in that game, but it's also just maybe he thought the Archons would soak up more of the Banelings. I mean, only 2 is only soak up so much, but those first ones are definitely missed.
Yeah, good point there, by the way. It's actually surprising to see a Protoss that has double Stargate. Normally, as soon as they get up to at least 3, well, 3 is bare minimum, but let's say 4 Phoenixes, the Phoenixes want to be on the hunt, right?
Yeah.
And for some reason, Puck just kind of kept them at home. Like, yeah, he was picking away at an Overlord, and then he saw those units, but normally the first thing you see is like, all right, you know, we've got Phoenix, there are Mutas out on the map, let's go, let's hunt them down.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Maybe Bly did a really great job hiding them in the top corner. We just didn't see him. And, you know, he was specifically waiting to send them in for the final moment. If so, that's a really great move. But the Phoenix definitely should have been on top of it.
Of course, keep the tweets coming as we are looking at a surprise so far. Ukraine taking a 3-0 lead. The only one that can still have the prediction right is Funk, I believe, who predicted the 4-3. Hashtag NW4, because maybe we don't know anything about StarCraft. And maybe you guys say, like, no, this is not a surprise at all. This was obvious. You know, EU has always been better than NA. Oh, doggies. I love it.
Oh, it's Triss cheering for our neighbors to the south. Go Team USA. I assume she's Canadian.
Yeah, I hope so. Otherwise, he would live in a very, well, I guess Canada is very cold too, but I guess the other only thing could be the North Pole.
Exactly.
Would be very impressive.
Actually, Santa Claus.
Well, in that case, where's my present?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, things look rough for the US. Let's take a look who is going to be revived. Apparently, according to the guys at the Team Liquid Live report thread, I am not allowed to create any suspicion or even make an argument for anybody else than Neep. So, all right, Gaming TV,
3,
give it to us.
2, 1,
Our
0.
Caspa Cup champion.
It is Neep.
Can he do it again? I mean, yesterday he already all-killed the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
And now he has to all-kill Ukraine over here as well. But regardless, it's already a much closer match than I think many people thought.
I think it is. I have faith that Neeb can pull it back as he did versus the Muslim. But Bly, you know, one thing about Bly is, you know, he has tricks, but he has like a billion tricks. So which one does he send out toward you? So.
Yep, and it's not just Bly. I mean, even not just once. It could potentially be Bly twice.
Yeah,
but then even Dima as well. I mean, Dima is a real veteran. He's a super experienced player. Definitely has a couple of good builds as well. And then we saw yesterday that Neep is not invincible in Protoss versus Terran. But I don't, once again, you know, like obviously I'm a big friend of the Muslim, but I felt that the Muslim on Echo, that was some of the best TVP I've seen in a long time from Ben. That was really good on so many levels. I thought that was an incredibly well-played game by him. So that wasn't necessarily Neep being weak. That was more the Muslim being incredibly strong. But Neep on Whirlwind didn't look that good against Ben either when he won. You know, against Cass, it could perhaps get a little bit shaky as well. Either way, the comeback for USA has to start on the Whirlwind. You know, you mentioned this before. You said even on Whirlwind, Bly could go for an early pull. And, you know, the first thing I thought is like, yeah, because it's actually really good. Because it's a 4-player map. Now, Neep is not the type of Protoss that will go Pylon Nexus first. Because then, you know, if you scout your opponent last, you can scout 2 out of the 3 positions. But if you scout the one last and it's an early pull, you're dead. You know, there is nothing you can do. Whether you're Neep or Zest or Stats, you're just dead. So it's probably going to be Pylon Gate. But Whirlwind is also a map with a lot of surface area in the main to cover and stuff. Ooh, scary map if you ask me.
Yeah, I agree. Well, in the top left, he's our last hope. It is the Red Protoss, Neeb.
And over here on the right bottom side, the man who has put Ukraine up 3-0 so far in his very first nation war of the main season, it is Bly. I love how Kevin... Well, Neeb actually went Nexus first. What? He went Nexus first on Whirlwind against Bly.
I was like... I saw the probe going down and I was like really suspicious, but dang, that is a little bit bold. I mean, maybe there's some mind games basically going on where he's like, well, he expects me, you know, to expect him to go for the spawning pool, and you just go round and round and round, but that is a bold choice.
Yeah. Bly is gonna analyze this replay in only one way. I should have gone 12 pool. I knew it. You know, there's one thing I do want to say, by the way, guys. If USA would lose here, that does not mean they are out of the tournament by any means. We are playing the GSL group stage format, so this is the first match. The next match on this stream is going to be Norway versus Australia, and then obviously the winners will play against each other in the winners match, and the losers will play against each other in a lower bracket match. Now, some other people might be wondering why on earth would take Bly that base over his natural. There's only one argument here to be made. It's because he's Bly. And he probably wants to be aggressive, and if you want to be aggressive, then this hatchery is slightly further forward. But normally I don't recommend this, because every drone that you produce from the main has to go all the way towards this third base location. So you actually lose like 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds of mining time on every single drone you make, and that does really add up.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't particularly like it, but of course if he is going to be aggressive, especially if it was that horizontal or vertical spawn rather, that would have been quite good. He's going to find out that it's not. In fact, he's already scouted horizontal, so sending links through the middle, he will be able to find that it is cross position. Neeb is opening up with that Stargate after that Nexus first. And I imagine that will be, well, that's actually going to go like, with its Oracle or Phoenixes, which I've actually been seeing a lot of Phoenix play on Whirlwind quite a bit.
Yeah. I think if you go one gate Stargate, it's pretty much always Oracle, because, I mean, Phoenixes can work, but I think Phoenix is a little bit better after maybe multiple gateways and then a double Stargate Phoenix. But I think just going one gate Stargate Phoenix, you give a lot of time to your opponents. It can still work, but I think Oracles make a little more sense.
Yeah, but that actually it reminds me, I mean, this has kind of been something we haven't really had to talk about, because most of our PVZs have been about that Dark Shrine opener, you know, the 4 gateway. But if it does go into like a late game, I'm not sure. I don't think Whirlwind's actually a good map for it, of course. But if Neeb did want to go into carriers, he was using carriers quite nicely, like on maps like Vanny Research Station. But Whirlwind's a little more questionable.
Yeah, I love carriers, especially think as soon as you have a 3-base setup. A lot of surface area on this cybernetics core. Nice play here by Bly. One more reason, by the way, why you would want to go one gate Stargate, and then why Oracle is more likely than Phoenix, is that if you get bailing busted, you'd be super dead, right? Because a single Phoenix or 2 Phoenixes can't do anything. And once again, by the way, Neeb is left. Neeb actually has played this game with no fear at all. He went Nexus first, late scout, no Mothership Core, one gate Stargate. I mean, yes, he does have an Oracle, but the fact that he just plays it without a Mothership Core again, even against somebody like Bly, I think that's quite crazy.
Yeah. I totally agree, by the way. Like, I've talked to Bly after games where he could have won faster, and he's basically like, yeah, I should just early pulled. I would have already won. Like, what's the deal here? We also have a Void Ray following up the 2 Oracles, Twilight Council as well. The Oracle's getting some good scouting, sees that the lair is already on the way, sees the drone saturation too. There's actually no real army to speak of for Bly, so he has no worry about his third base.
Nope. I mean, these 2 Oracles should always be able to find a couple of openings. You can guess, I guess you can say that one Void Ray is kind of a safety Void Ray, you know, in case Bly would decide to get very funky and suddenly make a whole bunch of roaches and stream them across the map. If you just have a couple of gateway units, it can be tricky to defend. So, you know, having one anchor Void Ray is nice. Can also shut down Overlords and stuff.
Yeah. Oracle's going to be trying to get a queen here. I mean, they absolutely can, but...
One Oracle, I think, is going to fall.
Oh, God, it will. No, the 2.
Oh, my God.
That was a huge mistake. I mean, he did end up getting the queen, I suppose, but that was not worth losing both Oracles. And oh, my God, it's like as soon as he lost the Oracles, Bly throws that Nidus from down.
And that could be an absolute disaster. Because there is really no DPS, I think, at the moment at all in the army of Neep, take a look. How many queens do we have? There are 3 queens on the way. We already have 4 queens out, so I guess grand total of 6 queens soon, because I did see that one just popped. If the overlords get found by the Void Ray, that would be fantastic for Neep. But if Bly can somehow get a Nidus out with 8-9 roaches and 6 queens, I don't think that Neep has an answer to it. I really don't think so. Can Bly get the all kill here?
I think he might be able to. The gateways are only just coming down, sending down 7. He does see the Nidus Swarm, but can he actually help defend against it? No, he definitely saw it. Okay.
There's no pilot. I mean, he's getting 8 gates, but that cannot do anything. One Void Ray is not going to be enough because so many queens will pop.
Oh, God.
Where's the army of Neep? It's 22 army supply against 44. And I think we're looking at a massive upset here.
That one pylon. There's like a second pylon finally on the way.
God.
But that's so scary. The adepts are coming in now, and there's actually quite a few of them. Start pumping anything at all. Maybe even another Nidus Swarm just went down on the natural. I don't know. The third base actually is being evacuated, but that's actually just game.
Wow.
No one anticipated the 4-0 for Ukraine.
Bly getting the all kill against Team USA in very, very typical Bly fashion there. Kills both oracles, and he didn't, he didn't think about it twice for a second. That Nidus network went down immediately. But that was probably his plan all along.
It probably was,
Yeah, because, I mean, it must have been some sort of a plan for Bly. And I mean, I did say it as well in the beginning of the game. Whirlwind is a map where you have a lot of surface area in the main base. And, it's not just early link drops. It could be late in Nidus play as well. I like the execution by Bly, but obviously it all goes back to Neep losing both oracles.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Neep just played a confusing game start to finish. It almost felt like he was like, well, I really hope he doesn't early pull me. Well, I really hope he doesn't send roaches across the map. Well, I really hope he's actually playing a macro game, but I don't think you ever say that about Bly, because if it's not a Nidus Swarm, then it's something like mutilus transition, right? And his scouting, once you lose those oracles, he didn't have any sentries and a Hallucinant Phoenix. He didn't have an observer to do anything with it, and the Void Ray is going to take forever to get across that map. I mean, that was a very risky thing for him to do.
Yeah, and it's also so bizarre to me that he just does not make a Mothership Core at all. Because I think with that probe, he saw that Nidus go down immediately. If you have a Mothership Core there with 150 energy, and you build 3 pylons around it, and Nidus pops, and you drop at least 1 or 2 photon overcharges, then maybe you can shut down the second. Because with 7 gateways in production, and having a 16 worker advantage, which is what Neep had, basically, every second that goes by is a great second for Neep. If all those gateways finish up, he's going to have a massive amount of Protoss units to warp in. If he just buys a little bit more time, he will always get us so much more money than Bly. So every second that goes by is good. And normally, that's the power of Photon Overcharge. It can buy you that time. So
yeah. I just don't expect it at any point that it was going to be like this, like no rush 15 minutes game against Bly. I mean, the polls actually looked pretty representative of what I was thinking. Most people believe that it would be USA win, but nope, it was a 4-0, and Bly looks to be on fire again.
I don't really know what to say. This is the very first nationwide that I've predicted wrong. All 16 matches of the qualifier, I was spot on. I mean, not always score-wise, but many of them I was, but this one I could not have been more wrong. All of us. I guess Fonka was the closest one to being right, but he was still wrong, so in my eyes, that just makes him the first person to be wrong.
Okay, that makes sense.
So Ukraine advances to the winners match here of the Nation Wars. I guess we can call it Group A. We're going to head over to a 3 to 4 minute break, and after that we'll be back with the second Nation War between Aussie, Australia that is, going up against Norway. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.